Hello and welcome to StevoTalks. I am Stevo. What I was going to go over in this video is sort of like a brief, or try to keep it brief, history of how I went from being extrovert to introvert and how I'm trying to sort of get back to some sort of extrovert sort of status. Now, if you don't know sort of like the difference between extrovert and introvert, basically an extrovert type of person is someone who is typically more loud, more outgoing. They're not afraid to be noticed. They will sort of put themselves out there, to the whims of others, sort of thing. They'll be more open and be talking to people and sort of being sort of more, I don't know, active. Say like in a room, being more active in a room of people. Whereas being introvert, you sort of tend to be a bit more closed off. You don't really want to be involved in everything that's going on. You're happy to sort of like be yourself in a corner, just sort of just entertaining yourself. So, like I say, I want to go over how I went from being extrovert to introvert. Now, like I said, when I was younger, sort of, I suppose more late teens, I was quite extrovert, and to be honest, in some ways, I was a bit of a dick. I mean, I wasn't really like nasty or anything like that, but I was quite sort of like loud and noisy, and people would notice me and I wouldn't mind, and I'd be more, I suppose I'd be more like outgoing and more chatty and things like that. Then as I got a bit older, like I've mentioned in a previous video about my acne, how I had bad acne as a teenager, and then sort of like towards my end of my twenties, my late twenties, I started getting sort of adult acne, if ever is such a bloody thing, and like I said, that really affected me. But it wasn't just the acne that made me sort of shut myself away. There was a few other things as well. Now, one of them was when I got a broke nose. Like my nose is actually broken, and I can't exactly remember when it was, but I think it was maybe like the early 20s, maybe. I think it was early 20s. I was out in town drinking and basically ended up getting into a bit of a fight, and some guy walking past me. So I was looking at this other guy that was starting, and then some guy walked past me, his friend walked past me and just went bam, like that, sideways on, and cracked my nose over. So when that happened, I had to wait 2 weeks, something like that. Went into hospital. Ended up having my nose broke again to try and like reset it, and it was awful. Like I'm sorry, but the doctor just did a really bad job. So it was a couple of years. I went around with this really, really bad nose job that some half-assed doctor did. It was still like crooked and bent over, but just not as much. But the way it was awful. So here's me, sort of like early 20s. The spots haven't started coming back yet, but I've already gone through my teenage years covered in acne. I got rid of those. Then I'm going into like my 20s, my early 20s. Then I get a broke nose. So I'm sort of like, I'm hiding away a bit as a teenager because of the spots. They go away. I start sort of like branching out, being like, oh, spots have gone great, you know, confidence building back up again. And then early 20s, someone cracks me on the side of my nose. And for a couple of years, I'm like going around with my nose just wonky, and it just looked absolutely terrible. So a few years of dealing with that, I went back to the hospital, said, look, this isn't good, you need to sort it out. So went back into hospital. Doctor did a better job. It's still not 100%, but did a hell of a lot better job than the first guy. Come out, and I'm like, brilliant, okay, it's a lot better, I can deal with it, fantastic. So confidence starts going up again and again and again. Then guess what happens? Male pattern baldness. Now, I've had this for a while. I'm sort of used to it. I think it kind of suits me. Other people have said it suits me, so I got used to it. But obviously, at the time, I'm sort of like now creeping into sort of my late 20s, and I was at a house party, and it was, you know, getting quite rowdy, like they do at house parties, and someone, you know, had a camera and going around taking pictures and videos, and this was all sort of like around like the mid 2000s. So there's, you know, pictures being taken and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, sort of like the party was great, had a blast, fantastic. Then we went around friend's house the following week where we had the party, just for sort of like a chill out night, and we're going through the pictures, and I noticed sort of like the angle that some of the pictures were taken, they were sort of like focusing sort of like down on top of my head. Now at the time I was obviously using gel or putty or whatever to, you know, style my hair, and the way the angle of the camera was like focusing down on top of my head, and I could see it. I could see it thinning out big time. Like I saw it, I was like, what the... So it was soon after that I realised, I tried like this shampoo and that shampoo and pumpkin seeds or something that's meant to help, and sal palmetto, and I was trying this and caffeine shampoos and all these concoctions. None of them helped or did anything. So at this point I was just going through another phase of like, bloody hell, you know, I've had the spots and then the broken nose, now I'm going bald. And it wasn't long after that, and I think might have been on some of the photos as well that I was looking at, I started to notice like my skin getting all oily again. And I've mentioned this in a previous video about, you know, acne, like the bane of my life. And so I know I started getting like oily skin in that. And it wasn't soon after that I started getting sort of like the adult acne again. And so essentially what has happened for a good, I mean, really, like I'm almost 42, really since my teenage years, I have sort of like an issue after issue after issue with my appearance. Something's happened, I've sorted it, then soon after something else comes up, and then I sort that, and then something after soon else, sort that. And so I've had this consecutively for at least a good like 20 years. And what this essentially has done is turned me into an introverted person, because I had like the spots, because I had the bent nose, the oily skin, blah blah blah. I was afraid to go out. Or I mean, I still would. I mean, I still would go out, but I wouldn't enjoy it, and I would shut off from people. And if people asked me, I wouldn't look them in the eyes. I'd look away. I'd sort of like give quick answers, one word answers. I'd be, and I knew I was coming off as completely sort of like I was uncomfortable. But in my head, I was just like thinking, I need to figure out and sort this out, like these issues. And then once I've got this issue sorted out, then I'll be good. Then I can go out and socialise and blah blah blah. And then I'd sort that issue out, and then another issue would come up. So now I'm at a stage where I am not 100%, but a lot more in control over my complexion, over my skin. I've figured out that my spots, the oily skin, there are different types of food and drinks that can trigger it and make it worse. So I tend to eliminate those. Like I say, I'm still sort of content with the hair, I suppose. You know, it is a bit annoying because as soon as it does start growing, you can visibly see the sort of like top is thinner than the sides. But, you know, it is what it is. You sort of try and deal with it. So it's only really now that I'm starting to sort of branch out a little bit more, like get a bit more confident, like and I'm trying to become a bit more extrovert. Now I don't want to be extrovert to the point of some lad guy in a bar sort of like making a fuss and so everyone like focuses on him, stuff like that. But I mean just a bit more extrovert where I'm probably not so much worried about talking to strangers, or maybe like starting a conversation with a woman or something like that. Because like I say, I've hid myself away from doing those sorts of things because I have been so concerned just about my appearance for so long. Like I've shut myself away for so long. I don't know, or I find it difficult to like. And I sort of know how to do it, but I find it difficult to actually implement it and sort of like approach women and just chat to women. Oh, hey, how's it going? That sort of thing. So, well, like I say, because I'm getting it more in control, I don't sort of like have excuses anymore, and so I need to start getting used to it. I need to become a bit more extrovert. Don't get me wrong, I've quite liked being introvert, but yeah, I need to sort of start a bit more interaction with people and not be scared to interact. So, okay, thanks for listening to this video. Like I said, I just wanted to explain sort of this, like why I went from being extrovert to introvert, what has caused it, I mean, a part of it as well is really at the time from basically just getting no help from the doctors. I especially like to do with the spots in the oily skin, at least, because I was going to them and I was telling them that there's something I am consuming that is causing this, that is making my skin bad. And I would tell him, and I would tell him, and they just wouldn't listen, and they'd just try and shove like antibiotics, or try and get me to rub topical lotions on the skin, and it's like, no, because that isn't going to solve any of the problems. Because if I'm still consuming the thing that's causing the spots, then shoving as much topical lotion on your skin or taking as many antibiotics just isn't going to have any effect whatsoever. So I kind of got sort of like wound up at the doctors. Like I got quite pissed off with them. The fact that they didn't really help. Like at no point was it like, right, okay, it sounds like you've got some intolerances, sounds like you've got some allergies, or maybe like some gut issues or something like that. So, right, what we're going to do is we'll send you to this person or that person, and hopefully we can figure out like what foods it is that are causing this upset, and we'll go from there. There was none of that. I'd tell him the situation multiple times, told him the situation, and it would just be like, right, well, here you go, here's some pills. So okay, so thanks for watching this video. I know I've whittled on a little bit about how I was introvert. How I'm an introvert and used to be an extrovert. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, please do. You know, if you've been in similar situations, if you used to be extrovert and now you're introvert, you know, tell me about it. What made you like go through that transition? If you've always been introvert and you want to sort of break free a little bit, and you know you're struggling to do it, please, you know, send me a comment. You know, tell me about it. Let me know sort of like how that's going. You know, things that you're doing to help you out. So right, that's it. That's it for this video. Appreciate you watching, and until the next one.